Welcome to Becoming Fearless. In this episode, we're going to be introducing you to Anthony. Anthony is a coach for Fearless, and I want all of you guys to get to know Anthony, as well as Josh and Matt. Make sure you check out our other Becoming Fearless episodes with our other coaches. But you're going to be seeing more of Anthony, more of Josh, more of Matt in the videos and in coaching. If you do any coaching with us, any training with us, if you come to any of our workshops or events, you'll be meeting these guys because they travel the world with me. They've been doing it for a while. They've been around for a while, but they just started in the videos. So we want to start introducing them so you guys can get to know them. So you don't just come to an event and suddenly say, who's this guy? Anthony started out as a client. All the coaches started out as a client. They worked their way up kind of through the ranks through really getting in there and showing up and participating and basically, in this guy's case, not leaving. He showed up constantly and wouldn't leave. He assisted, he helped out, he kept coming back, and eventually, since we couldn't get rid of him, we had to hire him. And so that's what it boiled down to.
That's how you do that.
Yeah. It's just they let me in the door. I don't know. No, he did a great job. He was awesome. We loved having him around. And one of the things that a fearless coach, to become a fearless coach, you have to literally go through a lot of training. It's not like when I first learned, it's like, you took the workshop, you're great, we're gonna make you a coach next weekend. No, that was, I've seen companies do that.
Definitely not.
No. You actually have to have skills. You have to understand the principles. You have to understand them inside out. You have to be able to explain them inside out. So these guys all have massive skill now because they really put the time in. And if I remember correctly, Anthony, when Anthony came in the door, he was really, really shy. And still is to some degree. So he's largely a shy guy, and it really shows in the way he flirts with girls and meets girls and socializes. He uses this shy, kind of embarrassed but seductive way of being that women really like. And I remember when he first came in, you were just plain shy, like he would shut down. And we took him out one night. It was the first weekend we had him. We taught him some basic principles, took him out, and he ran away. We went to this bar, the Bungalow in Santa Monica, and we're like, where's Anthony? I don't know. And apparently Anthony went home. Anthony decided he didn't want to be there that night because he was too shy, and he's like, I'm going home. So, but he did come back and he did continue to work, and he kind of outgrew that. But.
To be fair, I did have one conversation before I realized it wasn't for me. And it went terrible. So I got the hell out of it.
One bad conversation, he ran out the door. And you realized it wasn't for you. So elaborate on that, because that's an interesting statement. Because obviously it is for him, because he kept coming back, and now he talks to girls all the time. Yeah. So what was that about?
It was like, meeting these two girls we were with. It was me and another guy. I walked up to those girls, and it reminded me of all the times that I'd ever tried to talk to girls and how scary it was being in front of them. And I was like, okay, this is why I haven't been doing this in the first place. And so after we got out of that conversation, I was just like, hey, this is way too much. I gotta leave.
So you just literally went home. What was your as you got home, what did you feel like? What was your thinking like? I'm actually curious. I've never asked you this. Like, what did you do when you got home? What did you think? What did you feel?
Well, when I left there, I was kind of stewing some anger. I was frustrated. I was like, if you don't like me, this and this, I can't do this. I'm like, good girls. And so I was frustrated. That's why I left. And so as I'm walking to the car, or whatever, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna fucking go home. I'm gonna go home, go to sleep. I'm not coming back tomorrow. All this stuff. And I got home.
So not coming back to the workshop tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Totally. So on that ride home, I started thinking, and I was just like, maybe it was me. Maybe I could get better at this, and start thinking about that stuff. And obviously showed up the next day, but in that particular moment, I was just like.
So did you beat yourself up when you got home? Were you hard on yourself?
Yeah. Oh man, from the time I left to the door to the time I got to my house, I was beating myself up nonstop. I'm not gonna get good at this. Girls don't like me. And the type of girls at that bar that night, I was just like, they're the higher class, perceived higher class, because I'm not, I don't dress like them, I don't look like them. That's what it felt like.
So that was Saturday night, right?
That was, I want to say Saturday, yeah.
And then so Sunday, did things change? Because you said you did come back, right?
Yeah.
Did things change on Sunday?
Yeah, for sure. Things did shift on Sunday. Yeah, especially when we did a lot of the dropping the anxiety that I had, and then going out Sunday was way better. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about it. I don't remember. I meet so many guys, and I've been doing this for over 10 years. I don't remember all the subtle details in the beginning when I meet somebody sometimes, because there's so much in my head. So remind me of what happened from there. How did you end up, like you kept coming back? Like you obviously enjoyed Sunday. You got value out of it. I don't know if anything big happened on Sunday for you. But then you kept coming back and you kept assisting. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah. I remember the Sunday we had a talk, and you do a talk on, you talk about Walter Russell and these guys like this who do amazing things. And I remember,
Walter Russell's awesome, guys. Check out philosophy.org. He's a man who was just basically good at everything he ever touched. So
yeah. So you're talking more about stepping into fear and playing with fear, and and I was kind of like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. So if I could have run away and I came back, I was like, I understand this is what I need, and the tools that you're talking about are going to help me with it. And so I left that workshop. Remember, that was Sunday. I went to work Monday, and I was just feeling really inspired to talk to girls. And I worked at the library, and there's a ton of girls there. And I think I talked to almost every girl there at some point. It's kind of shy to say this on camera, but it's true. So I took what you taught us.
Are you talking about employees, or are you talking about girls like coming in and just check out books and stuff?
Both.
Okay. So you're just talking to every girl, period. Okay, cool.
Yeah, employees, girls who came in off the library, lady who was working at the deli, anybody. I was just like, okay, I'm feeling more confident now, instantly, almost, right? And so I would do that, and I would notice the results were changing. The girls were more receptive to me. They were standing there, and even if I ran out of things to say, there was that awkward moment where they were just standing there, but they were still locked in, looking at me like, okay. And I was like, fuck, this is kind of weird. Like that's before, I'd be like, I take myself out the conversation because I was so anxious, like all the stuff in my body going on, and I'd be like, okay, cool, I gotta go. But this is totally different. I would just kind of look at him, gaze at him for a bit, and it'd be awkward.
And you do that Anthony smile, kind of like what you're doing now, that little awkward shy. Like, you guys get this shy smile he does, and it fucking pulls them in. His eyes squint, you can't even see his eyeballs, and then he gets this embarrassed smile, but he owns it. And because he owns it so well, it's like embarrassment becomes seduction in and of itself. You ever seen that embarrassed guy that's kind of he's attractive because he owns his embarrassment, he pulls inside. Anthony just does that, And that's how you turn being a shy guy into an attractive guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Whereas before, I get shy and I get scared and I'd eject.
Yeah.
But this time it's like, I'm shy, I'm nervous, I'm smiling, but I'm not leaving because, the concept of grounding and telling your body is I can handle it now.
And we talk a lot about stepping into tension, right? So you're literally grounding and sitting in the tension, which is very different. Now, this is a really important principle we teach at Fearless. And Anthony, as I'm looking at you, I'm thinking this is one of the things Anthony's really good at. Silence. So many guys are scared of silence because girls walk off. They get an awkward silence and the girls run away because it's awkward. It feels weird, right? It doesn't happen to Anthony. And what we always say is it's not the silence that's the problem, it's how you feel in the silence.
Absolutely.
If you feel really good in the silence and you kind of enjoy it, even the embarrassment, you enjoy it, she'll probably start talking to you again, right? And if you feel really awkward and like, I want to get out of here, she's going to want to go away because she feels what you're communicating subconsciously. So can you talk about that? You've had that experience, right?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, the whole shyness part and not running away from it, over time I started to enjoy it. Like I kind of just sit there and I'd be like, okay, I'm literally out of things to say, and I'll just say it.
You would say those words, right?
Yeah, whatever.
I literally don't have anything to say. I run out of things to say.
Right, I would just say that until the conversation ended, and they probably, I'm thinking about it now, more stayed than ever left. Yeah. Thinking about it, they'd either restart the conversation, ask me a question, kind of pull the conversation in, or something would come to mind because I was just in that moment. It was just like, oh, okay. Hey, what are you up to right now?
More stayed than ever left. So that's interesting. I mean, that's a big statement because let's say 6 out of 10 girls stay then leave. That's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
That's actually a huge percentage. So you're really more attracting girls by doing less.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I know you're being.
Right. That's what you're teaching, right? It's like not getting out of your head. And when you're in your body, you're not thinking about what to say. It's like, I don't have anything to say. Don't go searching for something to say. So I just don't go searching for something to say. And it can be awkward at first. It's like, okay.
I'm just silent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't go in my head. That's what makes them, they can still feel me probably. And feel me being nervous, and I don't hide from it. So
this idea, how much communication really does transmit in the silence. We use so much words. Some guys just can't stop talking and they don't play with silence. So I find even when you're using words, you need these points of silence just to sit and take each other in from it and feel each other's emotions. Yes. Do you do this a lot?
Yes, a ton. Like it's more fast now because I've been doing it for so long.
Maybe we should have for Anthony a series on silent seduction.
Yeah, I'd like to try that. See how it goes. I don't promise you anything. I have had some good success with it, So
let's take a look at your overall journey. What did you do? Was your intent when you came in the door and started assisting? What was your intent? Was it to eventually work for Fearless? Was it to, I just want to be around it as much as possible. I don't know why. I want to learn. I gotta master this shit. What was your goal soul and coming around so much. Because we offer in our experience program, we offer the ability to be able to assist at the workshops. And for free, just to come in, put out chairs, sit. And we tell people all the time, take advantage of that, sit through as many as you can. And Anthony sat through, how many times did you sit through?
I sat every one since my first one. I had it in about 15 of them.
About 15 of them. Some of you guys, maybe one, two. He sits through them like constantly.
I was literally taking days off work, or asking if I get the early shift just so I can show up on that Friday or Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
Take the weekend off if I could. Call in sick. I was doing all kinds of.
This is a guy who's changing his life. He's like, what are you willing to let go of to have a new reality? And what are you willing to what he was willing to do to create what he wanted, what he was willing to let go of to create what he wanted. You have to let go of something of a lower nature to have something of a higher nature. So he was like super committed. He showed up. It's funny, I'm gonna illustrate something. A lot of guys will send emails or letters saying, I wanna work for you, I wanna be part of Fearless, but they never take a workshop, they never show up, they never assist, they never help out, they just want a job. So I get it. I mean, I was the same way. I've done that. But Anthony showed up. He just provided value. You know, he was like, I want to be there, so I'm going to be there. And he wasn't even trying to find a job. He just wanted to be in the room. And so it made sense that you're a guy that naturally kind of became grounded into becoming part of the team. Let's go back to that. Let's talk about what was your intent getting in that room all the time?
You know, it was the fact that when I left that room on Sunday, I felt like a different person. Like I literally felt like a different person. Everything that you're saying, and you say this sometimes. It's not. You're not learning anything. You're basically stripping off layers to get to the natural person that you already are in there. And I started to feel that, and I was like, yeah, I totally feel that person's already in there. So when I would leave Sunday, I go to work Monday, and that whole week I would just feel like this dude. I was just like, yeah, I feel super solid right now. You know what I mean? And that's what kept me coming back. Like literally kept me coming back. I was like, I love the way it feels when I leave there. So I'm obviously shifting. I can feel it. And I want more of it. 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 So I just kept showing up.
And so you kept showing up. For how long did you do these experiences? Like you took one experience, you did all these experience workshops, and eventually you decided you wanted to go deeper. And now this guy works at the library, right? You know, you had a certain amount of money. You weren't rich.
No, not at all.
You weren't poor. You weren't rich. You lived in, you grew up in Compton, right?
Yeah.
You grew up in Compton. You grew up in basically poverty, right?
Yes.
You didn't have a lot of money.
Yes.
And so you had this mindset that money was hard to come by. It's scarce. I don't have any things like this. Am I have this correct? I mean, you share this.
100%. Yeah. I mean, my mom, she worked all the time. She worked late nights. She worked graveyard shifts. She worked day shifts. And I didn't see her a lot. And she made money, right? So we weren't. She got us things that we needed, but when it came to like having what you really wanted as a kid, extra stuff, you told no a lot, but she did what she could. She did a great job of it too. But you're in a world where you're seeing everybody else get, and they're having it seems like a bigger life, and you kind of feel confined to the small life where it's just like, I can't. And that's where a lot of my stories around money came from. You know what I mean? We don't have it right now, or you can't have it, it's too expensive. So the idea of making money just felt like impossible almost,
Yeah, because I had these same beliefs growing up. My mom was similar. Your story is very similar to my mother's and mine. And being single mothers, you have one income household, all that kind of stuff. So you get into the workshops all the time, over and over, and how did you manage when you have all these stories about money? Like it's hard to even spend the littlest amount of money, but yet you get yourself into these more advanced workshops. What was the next workshop you took?
Damn, I took the 3-month workshop.
Oh, I forgot about that. We don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
We changed it. So we had 3 workshops over 3 months with support in between.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, since I haven't talked about one of these in a while, remind me what that was like.
Yeah, 3-month workshop, man. I remember, it's funny because I signed up for the experience, and I remember not having much money in my account, but I was like, I knew I wanted to do it, so I put the money I had down. Same thing with the 3 months. I was like, okay.
So there's a trust factor, like I'm gonna figure this out. Okay?
Yeah.
Stepping into tension, because tension is the catalyst that creates change. If you want something to show up, you got to create some tension, right?
Yeah. So I trusted you guys. I felt it, and I can see you guys, how solid you guys were, and I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. So when it came around to hearing about the 3-month workshop, I was just like, it's a fucking no-brainer. It was just a matter of because I heard the price and I was like, okay, it's a little bit more than I'm used to spending, but I am making some money. So in my logical brain, it was like, cool, I get a check next week. And I'm gonna just give you 90% of that check. And I'll just give you the other 90% of it the week after. That's how my brain works. When you want something, you just like sacrifice, I'll live off $100 for 2 weeks. I'll figure it out. And that was the idea.
And where was your money before that? Because you were making all this money before that. This is what the story I got from you. You tell me correctly if I'm wrong. You were always broke, yet suddenly you have money for these workshops, right? And I see a lot of people do this. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I was working part-time for probably maybe 7 of those years, 4 hours a day. And I was probably making maybe at most, I would say $1,600 a month. Like, it wasn't anything. I got promoted
in
to
LA,
8
that's
hour.
nothing for
So I got promoted. I got an 8-hour shift. I was literally just, wasting that money on food and clothes, and I had a car that I liked, so I liked the car. I was spending money on that, and none of that stuff was really bringing any true like value. You know what I mean? Like nothing was shifting. I was still feeling like the same guy that I felt like when I was a kid. It was just like I'm not good at anything.
So you were trying to feel confident by getting a cool car, cool clothes. You were trying to get the external straightened out.
For sure.
Thinking the internal would follow. It doesn't usually happen that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember like trying to go to the mall and buy some clothes before work started that day, so I wouldn't have to wear my bummy clothes. And that's actually funny looking back. I was looking at pictures the other day of that, and I was like, huh.
Nice.
Hey, how times have changed, man. I feel like I can wear a trash bag now and feel pretty confident, honestly. Absolutely.
So where'd you go from there? So you took that workshop, and what was it like for you? What was your experience? So what we're doing is I want to illustrate his transition, right? Like how did he transition throughout this time?
Yeah.
What started happening?
Having that 3 months was awesome because I had the support, and I remember all of a sudden work became fun. Like going to work became fun. It was at a point I just hated going, and it became fun because I was like, as soon as my lunch break comes, I get to go outside, I get to go to Whole Foods, and I get to go approach girls because this is my homework. At first it was scary, but when it started to get really easy, I was just like, oh, cool. I can't wait till that hour comes. I'm about to go just knock this out really fast. I have some fun. And, we had our weekly calls, weekly webinars, and that was just really refreshing to see what the other guys were doing, getting your feedback on everything, how it was going. And, if I was resisting anywhere, you pushed me into the tension of it. And I go out and do it myself, and just have some really interesting results. They weren't always great results at first because I was scared, but they got better.
I do want to get back to the results. I want to talk specifically about what happened with him with this transition with girls. But let's go into that now because I was looking at the workshop as a whole. But what was your life with girls before you started, and how did that transition start to happen? With dates, with women. With sex, all that stuff. How did that all start to transition?
Looking back, before I took the Fearless workshop, there's a specific girl that comes to mind, and she would come over, she would hang out, she would flirt, she would touch, she would lay on my bed, and I got it. Like I was like, she likes me. But every time I try to move it forward, it never went anywhere. I would get rejected, she'd pull away. And I was just like, I don't fucking get it. And that's what was frustrating me because I was like, it's always been like this. Like I'll see girls attracted to me and somehow I'll push it away. It's always like that. And so I took the Fearless workshop, and I started doing the assignments that you gave us. You can approach them 3 a day or whatever it was in the 3-month program. Even after the experience, I actually started doing more approaching. So I meet girls, and I had to go through that phase of being rejected a lot because I was just getting new to the whole approaching thing. And then I had some really good ones that there are girls that I still talk to this day because the connection was really strong, And so the 3-month helped with that a lot. I would say going over to Whole Foods and stopping girls across the street and really just being really attentive to what's going on around me. Like seeing girls looking at me, giving eye contact back, and I was meeting them everywhere, I was meeting them everywhere. I was going on dates after work. I'd meet a girl during lunch break and I'd go on a date with her after work. And
same day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking back on it now, it's pretty funny. There's I had a funny story. I was working at the library and I was working behind the desk, and there's this room that's got videos and DVDs and all this stuff in there. You can check DVDs out. And I was flirting with this girl because she was hot and she came in. And so we talked for a couple minutes, and then I went back to to sit behind the desk, and she had a fine on her account. And so she came up and she acted like she didn't have the fine on her account. You could tell she knew she had it. And she was thinking that I was going to give her a discount because I was flirting with her. And I was like, no, I can't give you a discount. And she was like, oh, she said something like, she was like, damn, I can't even remember the wording on it. But it was alluding to the fact like, oh, so you seduced me, but you're not gonna give me a discount, like that kind of thing. And I remember thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's funny. I didn't think she really got it. That's what I was trying to do. But obviously, it was coming through some way, and a lot of things shifted. Even girls that were in my life that I knew already, I was showing up again, and I was a different person, feeling different. You know, more direct, more straightforward. And I wasn't settling for.
Well, how did, like, this girl that was laying on your bed all the time that was attractive but not, what was the key there? What started to shift? How did that start to shift so that she started to move forward with you, or you know, what happened in that area?
You guys talked about setting boundaries, and I remember at the time thinking setting boundaries. It's like, if I set boundaries here, she's gonna for sure leave. And I'm like,
guys do this all the time, guys. Like, what? I'm gonna let the girl get away with whatever she wants, to talk to me however she wants, because I don't want to lose her, right? Super nice guy shit, right?
It's a super nice guy shit. super nice guy. I'm actually embarrassed saying it. But yeah, it was like, if I set any boundaries here, she's gonna leave for sure, and that's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? I'm tired of being rejected up to that point by girls. So I was like, okay, but you know, because I felt like also it needs to happen. If I was gonna shift in any way, I needed to do it. And so I remember clear as day, she came over to my house again, flirted a little bit, got all close, and then when I went for it, she pulled away, and I was like, okay, all right, she's got to leave. And so I remember thinking of her, I was like, you got to leave, because I don't get what's going on here. Like, you do this, and when I do this, you pull away. And I was like, it's really just wasting my time. And she was taken back by it. She was like, oh. She was like, okay. And then she was like, you serious? And I was like, yeah. And so she grabbed her purse, and I took her downstairs, hopped in the car, and she left. And I remember sitting there like, fuck, what did I just do? It's like fucking Dave and Brian, man. That's the first thing I thought. And so I went upstairs and I kind of felt it out. And, you know, and like maybe not even 3 months later, maybe a month or two later.
See, this is really important, because some people out there and might think, well, what's wrong with just being friends with a girl? Well, is she being friends with him? No, she's flirting and using him for sexual validation. She's teasing him, turning him on. And with nice guys, they'll just get 50 million girlfriends and hang out with them all day, and they have no time for dates.
Yeah.
You got to create space. You got to figure out who's interested and who's not. Get the girls out of your life that maybe you're like, I don't really want to be your friend. I'm attracted to you, and I don't want to spend all my time sitting around you pining over you. Yeah. So maybe you need to set some boundaries and move those girls out of your life, and create space for girls that actually want to be with you. And this is kind of part of that energy. Yeah. So you did this. Yeah,
I did this, man. I remember probably like a month or two passed, and hanging out with a friend at a hookah lounge I go to, and I get a text from her. She's like, hey, where do you go to right now? I was like, I'm just kind of hanging out with my friend at this hookah joint. She's like, okay, well, I'll get my friend, we're gonna come down. I hadn't talked to her that whole time. It might have been 2 months. I hadn't talked to her at all since she left. And I actually just forgot about it, let it go. And so she came in a sexy outfit. And I remember that night, I'm like touching me close. I'm touching her way more than I've ever touched her before. She's leaning on me. She's like, you know, it didn't cross my mind that maybe it would happen again. She would pull away. I didn't think about it because the energy just felt different from her. And I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. I can feel it. And so we get out, we leave, we go to the dance club. We come out the dance club. We go back to the hookah lounge because the guy knows the guy who works there. And he goes in with his girl, and me and her in the car, and we're just like making out, just going at it. And I'm just like, wow, it's interesting, right? Like you set boundaries and it works. You know?
Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, and what do you think about that works? You know, as a recovering nice guy, as a guy who's literally letting go of his nice guy syndrome. I don't know how much you got left. It kind of goes down in degrees. Yeah. But what do you think's making the change?
It's knowing what you want and not settling. I think that.
What does it trigger in her though?
A guy.
And not just her. Like, this is everywhere in life, man. Like, if you've got a job and you want to have a better job, you gotta break this nice guy syndrome. If you want to move up in life, you gotta have boundaries with people. Yeah. You know.
Absolutely. You're not afraid to step into that. You're not scared to lose her. Yeah. Even though part of me was at the time.
But you weren't, because you did it.
Yeah.
And then and you created all this like I'm gonna be the rock. Mm-hmm. You can be all over the place and playing, but I'm the rock, and this is what I want. And if you're not being with me on that, then go away.
Yeah, 100%.
And in that, people will reorientate to this solid individual, and they'll adjust themselves.
Yeah.
Or they go away. And sometimes they go away, and that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and the more I learn about this stuff, it's just like, why do you want your time being wasted? And you also got to see that your time is valuable. If you don't see your time is valuable, then you just let people walk all over you. And so that's changed a whole lot. I've had a lot of those encounters now where I'm like constantly setting boundaries, and I'm like, okay, I set the boundary, boom, and it's like now they're here and they're showing up differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It's the same thing as in marketing. In marketing, if you try to market to everybody, you market to nobody.
yeah.
Everybody likes you, but nobody buys because your marketing is so bland and boring and nice guy. But if you get really targeted and you start to step into that tension with your marketing, you alienate the people that aren't your customer and pull in the ones that are. So you get a smaller slice of the audience that's serious, that wants to actually dance with you. And it's the same thing in dating. It's the same thing in like, who are you as a man? Here's another aspect. Like, I'm going to ask you this. This is something we talk about a lot. Is when you go out on a date with a girl, the early version of you, the nice guy version of you, did he ever go out on a date thinking it's his job to figure out how to impress and get this girl to validate me, to win her over? Like before you've even really got to know her. Like, I got to figure out, I got to win her over. And you don't even know if you like her yet. And yet you're trying to win her over. You don't even know what she likes. You don't even know what her value system is. And you're trying to win her over.
Yeah, for sure. And in the most subtle ways too. Like, you're trying to do things that you think she'll like to impress her in a way. Whether it's how you're being, how you're dressing, where you take her, all this little stuff for sure. And it's exhausting.
It's super exhausting. So how has that changed? What do you do that's different now in that area?
Yeah, it's like the boundary setting thing. It's just like, I mostly do what I want to do and then invite them into that. And, if it's not something they want to do, then it's fine, because what also has changed is that abundance mentality too, where it's like, if it's not her, then I'll meet somebody. Yeah, there's a lot of little nuances in that, like being out with them and also not trying to stay in this great high energetic state all the time just to make them happy, but like also going into whatever you're really feeling at that particular moment and just owning it. You know what I mean? Like, I had a girl the other day I was hanging out with, and she was just like, I was just kind of feeling like sad today, or a little bit of anger going on. Whereas before I would try to cover it up and just be like, yeah, and play it in the background, where it's like, it's just really how I'm feeling right now, And she was just totally receptive to it. She's like, yeah, I get it. Tell me what's going on, We talked about it, chatted, and it was a good ass date, really good date.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that a lot with guys. Guys are afraid to be sad. Guys are afraid to be angry. Guys are afraid. The key is being connected to the person, no matter what your emotional state is. Be real. So let's continue your journey. Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, from that journey, I set that boundary. That was nice.
Now you're dating a lot of women, right? You're dating a lot of women. You're doing really well. Continue on. And you're gonna have to fit some good stories in here somewhere.
Yeah,
some stories about your adventures, things that have happened.
I got a ton of them. Then obviously I took the Bucharest workshop. That was a huge one for me.
So the 3-month turned into a Bucharest week long, just so you guys know, and because we really wanted to compound a lot of what happened in 3 months into a daily program where we compound change. Now, when I first did this, I wasn't sure how well it was going to work compared to the 3 month, but that thing really did well. That first one, I was like, wow. Yeah. We got the 3 month. We got a lot of the change we got in the 3 month in a week because of the compounding intensive effect of having. We have models working with you 6 hours a day. We take you out all night, and there's just this, we're constantly in tension in a container that causes change. We're not teaching technique. We're stripping away limiting beliefs like crazy. So what happened in that? You were in one of the first ones, right?
Yeah. I was in one of the first week-longs, and I came out here to Bucharest, and I remember beating myself up, not feeling like I got success when I was out here. But I was again thinking about it the other day. Up until that point in time, I had never had the experience that I had in Bucharest. But I was, you're in your head sometimes, you're like, oh, the end goal is always to get laid and have sex and all this stuff that's going on. But it's like there's all these incremental changes that are going on that are fucking awesome that I'm just totally discounting. Yeah. And you
see it in students now too.
Oh,
you see a student's whole life changing, and he's like, but I didn't get laid last night.
Yeah.
You went further with that girl than you've ever gone with any girl. We literally had this yesterday in a workshop. This guy took a girl home from the bar. But he didn't have sex with her, so he's beating himself up. And so Dave asked him, have you ever taken a girl home from the bar before? No, never. So this is the first time you've ever taken a girl home from the bar? Yes. Do you see that that's in itself is a huge win?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Right, so with that cool story, right? We had a coach named Justin, and we're doing exercises that night. And there was this girl, and I ran into her in this crowd of people trying to walk through all these little cafe, the cafe they have culture here, and I seen this girl, and she was like, "You look familiar," and I didn't know if I'd met her before, and whatever. But it was a good connection. We're locked in, and then I was like, "Cool," let her pass, and then we were walking around, and Justin was like, "You're into that girl, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still into her." It's like, "Yeah, she was into you too," and I was like, "I can feel it." He was like, okay, so when we go around the circle and you come and you see her again, you stop and you talk to her. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll see. And so we got around the circle again, and she was sitting there with her mom at a cafe eating dinner.
Oh, I remember this girl.
Yeah, it was Irish. She was Romanian, but she was adopted. Anyways, whatever the case, she was a cute girl, super cute girl, redhead. And I remember being like, okay, oh, she's with her mom, so I'm safe. I don't have to go in. And Justin was like, no, you're going in. You're going to go in there and talk to her with her mom there. And I was just like, what? He was like, yeah. And so I stood there for a second, felt all the fear that I was having. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. He was like, okay, go. And I was like, all right. So I walked around and talked to her. And I'm like, what are you doing? And you want to go grab a drink? And she's like, she can tell she likes me. She's smiling and all this stuff. She's looking at her mom. And then she asked her mom if she can go. Her mom obviously likes me too. She's like, yeah, then I'll just bring her back in like an hour or two. And so I was like,
you hear this, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised you didn't. That's not in your reality. Like, well, what's this mom doing, right? It's like,
yeah, I didn't know her mom was going to shoot me off, tell me to go away, tell me to fuck off. Took her, grabbed her hand, we went to a bar, a place called Sky Bar, no matter where. And I remember being in that bar for probably about, maybe 30 minutes with her, maybe 40 minutes with her. And we're in there hanging out, and I'm flirting with her because I was like super turned on. She was super hot. And I don't even know if we can say this on camera, if it's okay to say, but a topic came up about her breast, and they were looking great, right? And so I was flirting with her a little bit, and I started kind of lifting the flap that she had on her thing, and she was totally okay with me seeing her breast, and I was like, okay, cool. So I started touching it like that, and it was totally okay, and I was like, wow, that was pretty interesting. But even still, I was beating myself up after because I was like, I couldn't get her home, and I couldn't have sex and all this stuff, but that was huge for me. And it happened again the next day with a different girl I just met on the street. So, super discounting those encounters, which end up leading up to better things later, honestly.
And then suddenly, I don't know if it was that trip that your whole life started changing in Bucharest?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you had an insane amount of girls.
Yeah.
You had all these girlfriends. You were with 3 girls in one day and all this crazy stuff that you were talking about. And your whole life started to change. This is the part that was really interesting because we talked to him about, Steph growing his balls and stepping into tension. He's really wanting to go deeper. He's wanting to change his life, not just his life with women, but with money.
Yeah,
and your financial reality and your belief in what you're capable of, and you want to travel the world. So the week's coming to an end and you've got a scheduled flight to fly home, right?
Yeah. So I got a scheduled flight to fly home, and I'm sitting in my room, and I remember thinking like, this is a really great trip. This is the second trip. I was like, this is a really great trip. So I was doing the advanced work, and I was like, this is what I always wanted. I always wanted to travel and date and meet women. Like, it's always what I want to do. And I'm sitting there, I'm like...
So he's always wanted to do this. He's literally creating this reality because he's stepping into tension with us. We're just helping him create what he wants to create. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Whether it's women or something else. It doesn't have to be women.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's the whole reason I went to Japan before I by myself, because I was like, I always want to do this too. I remember buying the ticket and closing my eyes and just being like, confirm. And send.
You were terrified to spend that money, right?
Dude, I was terrified. Yeah, I was terrified to go loans, terrified to spend the money, terrified to ask for the time off at work, and I was like, oh, I can't, and I did it, and having it was like the greatest trip ever. And so, anyways, I'm sitting. This is back to the Bucharest trip. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is what I always want to do, and it felt so good to me. And I was like, okay, I really don't want to go back to work on Monday. I'm not trying to go back and sit in traffic to get to work for 9 hours, and I didn't want to do it. And so I remember having this gut feeling that was like, you better go to work. That voices in your head, your mom's talking to you, is like, go to work.
You know how that voice will go to work. You get on that plane, you're flying back, you idiot, you should have stayed. Yeah, that's exactly what the voice will do. It'll switch on you on a dime.
Yeah. I'm sitting there and the stories are going, you need to go back to work. You're going to get fired if you keep messing around like this. You've already taken too much time off. You're supposed to be out here. They didn't even want to give you the vacation time to come out here. I remember thinking about all this, and as I'm sitting there, I'm like, because I had written the email, and I was like, okay, I need extra time off of work, and they're like, okay.
Because he wanted to stay, 2 more weeks?
Yeah, I want to stay 2 more weeks.
So he's literally stayed a week. He's used up all his vacation time. You want to stay 2 more weeks because you just like, we're going to be there 2 more weeks. And you're like, I don't want to leave. I love this place. Exactly, this is my life. This is my future.
Yes.
And you weren't working for us at the time.
No.
But you're like, no, I want to be here. And I remember you going back and forth. And you were like, stressing over this.
I totally was.
And go from there.
So I'm sitting there and I make the decision. And I was like, okay, look, how do I change my flight? Right? And so I started researching that. And then it was like, and that's
these were all the excuses. I can't change my flight. I can't do this. We made him look into all of this, and he started to realize he could cost you a little money.
Yeah. It's like, $500 to change your flight from that day back to 2 weeks.
And how many people would that stop alone? Like $500 to change my flight? Fuck it, I'm going home. Plus, I'm not going to work. But you're like, no, I'm committed to this new lifestyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And so, I'm on the phone with the airline company, and the lady's like, she's like, you from the U.S.? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to fly back. And she was like, okay, let me see what I can do. Hang on. And so she comes back a couple minutes later, and she's like, okay, I just talked to my manager. That ticket that we were talking about, that was about $400 something. She's like, well, we can do it for about 120. And I was like, yeah, can I do that? And it was very clear to me that moment. I was like, this is life working out for me. Like, this is me taking a step, but it's also giving me something back for taking the step.
Yeah.
And so, it's another concept that you teach about you going towards the thing that you want and watching kind of life give it to you, but also being aware when it's giving it to you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, cool, I'm staying. 2 weeks, I remember.
And then you called your job and what?
Yeah, talking about job, they didn't want to give me the time to stay. So they were like, you're basically gonna be absent without permission for like 2 weeks. And in my head, I was like, damn, that's enough to get me fired. And I was like, okay, I think I'm okay with that. And so I stayed 2 weeks, greatest time ever. I go back to LA. And I was supposed to go to work, I think that Tuesday or that Wednesday. And I had already assumed they fired me. So I just thought, I'm like, cool, I'm just not going to.
If you just don't show up to work for 2 weeks, it's right. Like, yeah, usually you're fired. Yeah, so go ahead.
So I'm sitting there and I get an email from my boss, or a call from my boss, and she's like, you're supposed to be here today. And I was like, oh man, this is my fuck. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, now you really have to make that decision. Are you going to go to work, or are you not going to continue working? Like, what do you want to do? And I had been wanting to quit the job, and I just wasn't happy there. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down there and I'm just gonna quit. Mm-hmm. I remember walking there, going from the parking lot to the actual job, and my stomach, all these butterflies as I'm walking in there. I'm like, oh, this is fucking terrible. This is a bad decision. All these stories are coming up again. You need a job, you're not gonna have any money. And I walk in there, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna quit. And she said, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna quit.
So it was literally like they didn't want to let you go.
Yeah, because it's like a big family there. I love all of them. Yeah. But I just wasn't happy there. And I was starting to resent everybody because I didn't want to be there. And it wasn't them, it was me.
So here you go. Now you got no job.
Yeah.
You've had this crazy adventure. Mm-hmm. You got bills due.
Yeah.
And what'd you do from there?
Yeah,
now you got all these women in your life.
Yeah.
You've been dating.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's funny. I let some of the bills go. There was a couple girls that I was seeing, and they were, totally cool. Didn't know seeing other girls. It was awesome.
He was really honest. Like, you don't have to lie about anything. If you want to date a lot, date a lot. Women do it all the time. And if you want a girlfriend, have a girlfriend. Just be honest.
Oh, yeah.
It all works out. You'll find the right people that fit you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's plenty out there.
Yeah.
So keep going with that.
So I was meeting girls, and I didn't have much money at the time. I was like, now that I have free time, I want to go out. I want to continue to practice what I'm learning, stepping into attention, meeting women. So, I went out to Third Street Promenade like every day for like that whole month or something. And every day I just kept going.
I remember this story because you talked about the change, right? What was the story about the change?
Oh, I literally had this jar it's like a peanut jar, and it was empty, and I would put coins in there. And so I had this, and this is all I had. This is really all I had for money. And I was waking up cooking egg sandwiches. And so I'd cook an egg sandwich, throw it in a Ziploc bag, and take this coin jar with money with me to Third Street Promenade, so I could pay for the parking just to go down there, because I didn't have any money to buy food. So I had to, eat the sandwich, and I was kind of fasting too at the same time. And every day I was going down there was just like hour and a half free parking. If I go over, I got some change just in case. And I'd be out there for like hours on end. Every couple hours, I'd move my car out the parking lot to another parking lot so I could beat the system. Mm-hmm. And I'd stay out there all day, and I'd just approach, and it was fun. I was meeting people, I was having fun.
There was that day you told me the story where you stayed there, 5 hours, 6 hours? No, you had 5 instant dates, right?
Yeah.
5 instant dates.
Yeah, totally.
And you were there all day. How many hours were you there?
Yeah, I was there for probably 6-7 hours, maybe even more than that, because most of those days are like that 8-hour days.
So 6-7 hours, and you had 5 dates in that 6-7 hours. Just walking around flirting with girls. This is a guy with no job, living on quarters. Yeah. He's got 6-7 dates. Let me ask you a question. In that scenario, you quit your job. You got, you haven't found a new job yet. You're broke. What was your emotional state?
Oh man, with the money, I was happy when I was out there. I'm not gonna lie. I was super happy when I was out there. Actually, the money wasn't even a big deal until later, when it was like, yeah, you really need to start making money, because gas started becoming a problem. And so, but up to that point, it was just fucking awesome. Every day was good. Every day was fucking great. I actually had the most fun I had in years.
Okay.
and not had any money. So
Now, can you share? We're going to keep moving forward now. How long later did you run into that girl where you stared into each other's eyes for like an hour on the street?
yeah, that might have been one of the first days I was out there, honestly.
Okay. So share that story really quick, is because I want people to understand the power of like the silence, presence, stillness. Because he's literally, you're walking down the street and you see this girl, and what happens, and it comes back to like he's listening to what his gut wants him to say. He's getting comfortable. He's not saying stuff out of fear or reactivity anymore, which is the principle. He's being more proactive, grounded, solid. He loves to talk about grounding. And so this you get to this state where you're really in your body, and you see this girl, and what happens?
Yeah, I see her. She's walking down the street. She's got this energy about it. It's very light, like a feather. She looks really happy. So she's walking down the street, and I pass her by. As I'm walking down the street, I'm kicking my ass, of course, beat myself up for not talking to her. And so I was like, whatever, I'm going over there to talk to her. So I turn around, I dart down there, I talk to her. I stop her. And I'm like, I think I said, can I absorb you?
I mean, hear what he just said. Say that again.
Yeah,
you stopped her, you looked her in the eye. You didn't say it that fast. You looked her in the eyes, right? How did you say it?
I was like, excuse me. She just turned around. I was like, can I absorb you for a second? Because she had really good energy. It was really light. And she just stood there.
And what were you feeling when you said that? Because that's the real key. You didn't just say the words. You were feeling something, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were feeling really like something for her.
Yeah, for sure. Like it pulled me in.
Yeah.
And so when I said it, it was really legit. Because you just said it to anybody, and they're like, "What the fuck, weirdo?"
Yeah.
But this energy, this girl, no, I didn't feel like that was gonna be the case.
And so it wasn't a planned thing you said. It just came out of you, right?
Yeah, it totally just came out of me. And so she stops and she just stands there, doesn't leave. Just relaxes and keeps eye contact with me. And that goes on for about at least, I'll say 5 to 10 minutes of just nonstop just staring at her. And at some point in that,
nonstop staring without saying a word.
Yeah.
They're basically a staring contest on the street.
Yeah. And so, because I'm used to that working with the models, we're soul gazing a lot. And so I was just feeling her. She wasn't saying anything. And at some point, she was like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it's a beautiful girl too. This girl, you put her somewhere high on the scale at the time for me, for sure. Definitely a beautiful girl. And she pulls me and gives me a hug, and we hug for about, honestly, kid you not, almost an hour. Like we're in this bubble together. Pull away a little bit. And
were you on the street or were you?
We were on the street. We were on Ocean Boulevard right there. Yeah,
okay.
It's totally on the street where all these people were passing by, walking through, and we're so in this bubble that I'm not even noticing anybody around us. But towards the end of it, when I started to really come back into the environment, I could hear people like, look at them. And there's a lot of people doing that too. And it's just like, I was just so in this bubble with it, I didn't notice that was going on that whole time. And so we hung out for a bit, and then took it to this patch of grass. We talked for about 20 minutes before her taxi came. And mind you, like, the whole time we were sitting there, I didn't see her pull out a phone. She didn't have a phone. I don't know what the case is. She never got an Uber, nothing like that. But randomly, towards the end of this conversation that we're having, she's just like, "Cool, my ride is here." Right? And she gets up and floats off into nothingness. It disappears, and I'm kind of like, "The fuck?" The strangest thing ever. But
was that probably one of your weirdest approaches?
Yeah, but also most satisfying one at the same time, man.
Yeah.
Like, that one, I was just like, wow. I was really in my body. I really felt all this stuff, just all this anxiety just kind of leave.
Yeah.
And it felt like you were just wanting somebody for a bit, a stranger. You know?
Very little said, very powerful. Where'd you go from there?
Man. I mean, in that week, I hung out for a bit and met some more girls, had some cool experiences. We were talking about pushing boundaries and stepping into more tension at the time. And so I was learning how to be a little bit more sexually free, more sexually open about what I wanted when I met these girls. And so, I was having an experience. I was making out with girls. I was, going a little bit further than that, and it was really good. I met a girl, and it was awesome. I remember she was wearing a bikini, and I was super turned on when I saw it. And so I walked over to her, and I was like, "You're fucking look sexy in a bikini." And I was really just enjoying it. I remember not even worrying about what her reaction was going to be. I was just checking her out, like really looking, and she was just start giggling, and she was like, "Are all guys in America this direct?" And I was like, "Nah, but they should be." So we chatted for a little bit. She's from the UK. She's from London, I think. And so we're walking down the street, and there's this place that is a view that overlooks the beach. And so we're standing there, and grab her. We start making out, and she's kind of pushing her butt on me, and it's kind of like, okay, it's going this direction. So I'm just really enjoying it and touching her all over. And I remember just thinking after that, it was just like, damn, there was something about that. I remember you always saying this is like, if you give yourself permission to do that stuff and you relax, you're not anxious about it, it's totally gonna be okay for them too because you feel comfortable in your own sexuality.
Yeah. I mean, sex is a beautiful thing.
Right.
I'm assuming you had sex with that girl. You didn't.
Oh no, I didn't have sex with that girl.
Okay.
No, she was awesome.
Right.
But
and that could have might potentially happened, maybe with a little more skill. I mean, who knows? Yeah. But the point is there were a number of girls you took home from that period of time too.
Yeah, for sure, definitely a period of time. Yeah.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable with the whole idea of sex either. I mean, so we make sex this taboo thing, and sex is a healthy, natural thing. Yeah. We're willing to, we get all excited about a show like Game of Thrones where everybody's getting killed and murdered and raped and pillaged, but when we talk about having sex in real life, intimate sex where two people like enjoy each other, it's a big deal. And it shouldn't be. It should be something amazing that people share together. You had all these great moments. Mm-hmm. So how did you end up moving forward from here, becoming a part of Fearless? Because at this point, you've taken the workshops, you're growing like a weed, you're having all these adventures. You're having these adventures when all you have is a piggy bank or a peanut jar full of coins, basically. Yeah. And so you want more. I mean, you want more financially, and so what do you do? Yeah, so moving forward, I remember a specific memory. I was staying with a guy for 2 weeks at a place, and it was also a Fearless student. So we would go out every day for like that 2 weeks. We go to UCLA, we talk to girls, we get better at this. And he was, he'd pay for my breakfast and my dinner. He was really kind of taking care of me for that time being, and I was still making shifts. I was still having all these things change. So a guy from India, we're staying it was actually your old place. Okay. Yeah, so we're staying over there and going to UCLA every day because he had a specific... When I moved out of my old place, I temporarily kind of rented it to these other guys. Right. So because we had it a little longer. Yeah, so we had 2 weeks before we had to get out. And, we're staying at this place, so we're going to UCLA every day because he has a specific type of Indian girl he likes. And it's an Indian girl who goes to UCLA. That was his particular, he wants an Indian girl who goes to UCLA. So we go to UCLA every day to go find this girl. And, so I was meeting girls there. I was getting better and better and better. But at the same time, I was trying to search for a job. And I remember trying to get interviews and all this stuff. And, it was going back to that thing where it's like, I need to make money. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. And the only way I know to do it is to go find another 9-to-5 job. And I didn't want that. You guys were talking to me one day in the parking lot. And it was like, you need to figure out how to make some money. Because my money was shitty. And that you guys are telling me, like, why don't you go wash some windows and do this stuff and kind of rack up some money? We're giving him like small businesses he could start, right, versus just going and getting a job. A whole like a list of potential small businesses that you can make some money at pretty easy if you hustle. Yeah, so I remember you guys saying this, and I was sitting there, and I was like, everything you guys threw out was just like, nah, I can't do that. Nah, I don't know how to do that. Nah. Because I had this whole idea of like, get a job, you save money, that's how you make money. It comes back to what you're saying about Walter Russell and all these guys, and when we said at the Fearless Experience about these guys who struggled a little bit and they figure it out. And I was in that space without even knowing I was in that space at that moment. And so all these ideas that were coming, I was just like, nah. And then this idea of like doing like deliveries came along, and I was kind of like, all right, that's a little bit better. I can step into this. I started doing that for a while, and to make money to help me over. Like Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff. Uber Eats and DoorDash and Postmates and all this stuff that was going on at the time. And, I was making some money doing that until you guys invited me to be a coach. I remember, and I was just kind of like, okay. Yeah. And here's the funny thing is, like, Anthony comes in as a coach. He doesn't have good money reality. So you start out coaching, you're also doing some sales for us, and your sales started out slow because you have a low money reality, but we kept working with them because we do a lot more coaching than just on how to meet girls. We do a lot of coaching on being solid as a man, creating your reality. We have a lot of guys that start businesses, and we teach them that it's a lot of it's belief. And so as your belief started to shift, your money reality started to shift. And it kept shifting. We watched it, and we watched you go from a guy that was struggling to a guy now that's killing it. I mean, you're making more money than you've ever made in your life. And still traveling the world, still meeting girls, and still doing all the things you want to do. So Anthony's got one more goal, because he's an amazing coach, and and I'm going to talk to him about his coaching, what he specifically likes to coach and what he brings. Because last week, he was with clients for a whole week, killing it. When are you going to buy that car? He wants to buy. What do you want to buy? A Honda? I switched it. You switched it. What is it now? It's a Nissan Skyline right now. Nissan Skyline. So he wants to buy a Nissan Skyline. He loves Japanese, basically sports cars. And so, do you have a drop dead date for buying that car? It's tricky. It's not tricky. Well, give me by when? A year from now? 6 months from now? By December. By December. Okay. So by December what? By December 31st. So let's talk, what's in this on your coaching? What do you think that you bring to the coaching that none of the other guys do? Like each coach has their own specific niche. And I see your niche as, you know, you got this vulnerability element. And coming from a guy he's super emotionally sensitive, he feels everything. And you really fall in love with women. You love women, you love being around women.
Absolutely.
You love making them feel special and beautiful. So talk about all this. What do you bring? What do you show to your clients? What do you bring?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to answer that question, not being a student to myself, but, you know, I'm always encouraging them to, like, you know, allow yourself to fully enjoy what you like. Like, if you really like the girl, like, fully indulge in it, you know what I mean? Like, enjoy that. But also be very honest with yourself and very honest with them about who you are, you know, and say some of the vulnerable stuff you wouldn't normally tell a person, you know?
And you're very good at figuring out what your body really wants to say versus what your head. I've seen you do this. Because some guys will write stuff on Tinder, like I've seen him write stuff on Tinder, or walk up to a girl and they'll say what they think they want to say, but we can tell it's coming from their head. He can tell it's coming from your head. And you're really good at saying, no, this is what my body's feeling. And I'm going to say this to her because it's in here, it's inside me. And how often does that land?
Yeah, it lands most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And, you know, I think sometimes I'll say some risky stuff, but it's really what I'm feeling at the time. It's like, if I see you in that dress or I see you in those yoga pants, I'm not going to go over and tell you that, you know, hey, I think you're pretty. It's not really what I'm feeling. When I come with that charge, I feel like I give the most when I have that charge because it's very congruent and I'm not in my head thinking about what I should be saying. It's just like, this is what's raw. This is what's here right now.
So what's raw? That's a good way to put it. So there's this rawness in the way you communicate with girls.
Yeah.
There's an authenticity. You're raising the tension, but you're also at the same time, when I see you do it, it's not coming from a place of just, I want to fucking take your body and bang you. It's coming from a place of, I like your body and I want to get to know you. There's something about you.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, because you really like women as people.
Yeah. I told him, like, you know, if it wasn't even about sex at all, like, I'd still hang out with some of these girls, you know, by choice. You know, because they're sweethearts. You know, shy now when I think about it.
So this is part of Anthony's charm right here. As he does more videos, he'll get less shy, guys. You'll have to pull this stuff out of him. So share with me just a little bit more about something you really think, from your perspective, that students, clients, potential students, people out there that maybe will never be a student somewhere in another country that's just trying to figure this out, what's something they really need to hear? What's something you think they could help them today that's practical?
It comes back to being 100% honest about what you like and what you want, and not filtering yourself. That's the biggest thing. Is when you're not filtering yourself, you get the most rawest emotions, and that's what sticks.
And what would you say to guys out there that are nice guys? Maybe they're in their head a little bit, and they're not in touch with their emotions.
Right.
They can't feel. They're like, I don't even know what I want.
Yeah, no, it's very, very true. That's part of that rawness, right? Being real with yourself and feeling for what you want. And there's probably something that you want, you're probably just embarrassed to own up to that you like. You know, that's a big part of it. You know, if you're sexually attracted to certain features on a girl, but you're too scared to tell them, then that says a lot about what you think about that, right? A lot of it's social programming. You know, it always comes back to, what do you really want, and are you going to go for it?
And what you really want is probably going to have some resistance, tension, fear involved. You know, that's that stuff like, I don't want to go that direction because it could mean me getting rejected. It could mean her not liking me. It could mean me pissing somebody off. It could mean, and nice guys will tell themselves they want something that's really bland and boring.
Oh yeah, we get that all the time with the guys who come in here. The guys who come in here and they'll be like, you know, I just want to meet a girl. I want to settle down with this girl, you know, and find the love of my life. And the truth is, they actually want to go out and they want to explore. They want to have some cool sexual encounters, some great experiences with girls. They want to date a lot of girls. You know, they want to have some one-off experiences, and they don't feel like they could or should be able to have that. And it's just like, life is open-ended. Why shouldn't you have it?
I've seen that, and I've also seen the opposite. I've seen guys come in the room and they'll say, I want to bang all these girls, I want to do all this stuff. And we get him on camera and start exploring his emotional state in relation to that. And I was thinking of one guy in specific, and got down to it, he just wanted a girlfriend. And I asked him, I said, so why are you saying this? If emotionally you really want a girlfriend? Because I feel like if I don't go bang a lot of girls, I won't be happy with my girlfriend. I feel like that's something I have to do so I can get the girlfriend. But you don't really want to do it. No, not really. And so it goes both ways, guys. And it's crazy when we dig into what you really want. And that's what Anthony's really worked on getting honest with, is how to get to what I really want and help you guys get to what you really want. So you stop fucking lying to yourself, because you can't get a fucking girl if you're lying about what you want. You can't get because you'll tell her what she wants to hear, you'll lie to yourself, you're being congruent, your emotions won't match your words. Very true. That's what he's good at helping you guys with. And it's amazing considering, I want you guys to look at this, he's very shy, and brutally honest at the same time.
It's a mind fuck.
And that shy and brutally honest nature is what makes you so polarizing. So we're going to close it up here pretty quick. I want to thank Anthony for being here, but what I want to do is there any one last thing you want to say to anybody out there? Anthony's at pretty much every workshop, guys. So if you want to meet Anthony, and the Fearless Man Live too.
Yeah, start taking more risks. I feel like guys in general need to start taking more risks and start playing bigger in life instead of playing small and settling for what you think you should have. Start really going for what you're scared to have, honestly, and that in itself, you start to see that all things are possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anthony, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
If you guys want to learn more from Anthony, actually, I'm going to invite you guys to do something right now. I want you to, if you like this video, you've watched it to the end, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But what I really want you to do is to go down in the comment section and write some questions for Anthony. What do you want to know? What do you want to know more about? What do you want him to do? If he does videos in the future, maybe he'll do some on his own, which is what I'd like to have him start doing. What do you want him to talk about? What do you want to learn more from? Like, start giving him material to work with so he can start thinking about it. So get into that comment section right now. Don't wait. Write Anthony some questions and we'll make sure Anthony checks them out and starts responding. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and remember, only the confident really live. See you in the next video.